Hello, everyone. This is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. Have you seen the vinyl at the Dollar Tree? I am in love with it. So many different colors, so many different styles. Today, I'm going to go through how I made all of these home decor items using the word home, obviously, and using the Dollar Tree vinyl, but not with a cutting machine, just purely as a decoration. So why don't I get started and I'll show you how I created everything using the Dollar Tree vinyls. My first one, arched home sign. I found this at the Dollar Tree, and of course we've all seen these before. I just love the arch window effect. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that front sign and I'm going to save it for later. I'm not actually going to throw it out. So I decided I'm going to use the checkered vinyl for this one. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to size it up and then cut the piece off that I need. And I'm going to put the excess to the side, peel that back. And once I got the back peeled, I'm going to place that arch good side down. And I'm going to stick that all on there and press it really nice and hard. Then once I get that all on, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and my cutting mat. And I'm just going to cut off tabs for the corners so I can fold it over nicely. And then once I get those tabs cut, I'm just going to fold that bottom piece over and it fits perfectly. And then I'm just going to do the arches by creating a ton of little cuts, and that's going to create tabs such that you can just fold it over with your finger and that'll create a nice arched for you. So here you go, you can kind of see it's all done, but I still have all my windows to cut out. So again, I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife with that cutting board and I'm going to chop that all off. And then once I flip it over, if there's anything I missed, I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and cut it a little bit just to make sure I have a nice clean edge. Here it is, all finished. I just love how it turned out. And there we go. This is the sign that I took off of the arch. I'm just going to create a little square around it because I know I'm going to put the white vinyl just to cover it all up. And I cut off a little piece. Again, I'm just going to take the backing off of this and then I'm going to put it on the side that I'm going to put the white vinyl on the side that doesn't have the lettering because the lettering is really, really dark. So I didn't want that to show through. So I just put it on the side, the opposite side, which was just plain cardboard. Again, I'm just going to cut off tabs right at the corner, fold it over, and I'm all set to add my HOME letters on there. Now, have you seen these at the Dollar Tree? They are chalkboard letters. I was so excited to see them. I was just like, oh my God, these are perfect. I think I bought 3 packages right on the spot because I've never seen them before. They're perfect. They're black. It's exactly what I wanted. So as soon as I figured out how to lay it out, I've got my sign all done. I've got my letters all glued down. Now I'm just going to glue that little home sign right into or back onto the arched window. And when I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? This needs just a little bit of something. So I thought, you know what? I have some plain twine just hanging around. So I started doing a little beads of glue just on the sides of the sign. And I started to wrap that twine all the way around. And once I'm all done, just chop off the excess and glue that all together. And then that just kind of put it together for me. I was like, yep, that finishes it off a bit. And now the lavender, we've all seen it at the Dollar Tree, and we all love it so much. I have cut the little strands off at the ends, and now I'm just going to create this little bow. Just kind of guessing, I didn't measure anything. I just cut out a couple of pieces, tied it all together with a piece of twine, and then I just glued that right onto the spot where the lavender connects and it's all glued together so you don't see it. Kind of a finishing touch, if you will. And there you go. That is everything for my arched home sign, my first DIY with the Dollar Tree vinyl. Here's my second one, home box sign. I found this at the Dollar Tree as well. I should say all the products are from the Dollar Tree. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take off and peel off, which took me forever, by the way, and open up the box. And then, of course, peeling it off was a little bit easier. It took a little while to clean everything off and to get all of that paper off, but I was very happy in the end. I got it off, and now I'm just going to size my vinyl. And of course, I'm going back with the black and white vinyl checkered pattern because that was kind of the theme that I went with today. It was the HOME, the home theme, but also the black and white checkered along with the black and white vinyls. So I cut out those tabs again, and using my X-Acto knife, I just get nice clean lines. And once that's all done, I'm just going to glue this box back together. Now, as a little side note, Dollar Tree has tons of colors, tons of patterns. You don't have to use the black and white like I'm using today. You can use any color for any one of these DIYs that I'm showing you today. It's just kind of what I wanted to go with the theme. That's why I chose the black and white. But everything is totally up to you. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of burlap, and this is just burlap ribbon I had hanging around, and I just want the rough edges of it. So I chopped off all of the finished sides, and then I'm just going to hot glue this down right to the top using our handy dandy little tool, which I just love so much. And there's a little bit that needs to be glued down, so I glued that down, and then you can see how this is coming together. Other letters that I found, these are just wood letters from the Dollar Tree again. Here's a little tip. If you take a little hot glue and then a barbecue skewer, glue that to the back, do that for all of your letters or all of your components that you need to be painting. And that's going to help you paint it a little better and be a little bit cleaner. Like for me, I get paint everywhere. Even if I'm doing this trick, I have paint on my knees for some reason. Does it happen to you guys as well? Anyways, I'm painting these all black using the barbecue skewer as a handle so I don't get everything messy. And once it's all dry, I'm just going to place that down onto my burlap and glue the HOME all in place. How do you love how this turned out? I am loving it. I had these ideas in my head. And then, of course, when something comes, together, you're like, this looks great. And now I'm just going to create a little bit of a finger bow, just wrapping the ribbon around my fingers, feeding it through, looping it around, and creating a little ribbon. If you want, I do have a tutorial that goes through these tiny ribbons in slower motion. So I'll link that down below as well for you if you want to check out how I make these little double ribbon bows. And once I do that, I just cut off the excess. And then I'm going to dovetail it a little bit just to add a little bit of a flare and a finishing touch to those tails. And then I'm just going to glue that on there. Nice and easy with our little home box sign. And now for our home fridge magnet. I have this wooden home sign in a package, and then of course these little plaques. It's a little wood plaque that I have there as well. It looks like a palette. And all I'm going to do for these two items is I'm actually going to paint them all black. So this is just black acrylic paint that I'm using. This is from the Dollar Tree as well, and I'm making sure I got good coverage. And I do apply 2 coats for both of these with that black acrylic paint. Once it's all dry, I'm going to take the black and white checkered vinyl once again, and all I'm going to do is every other piece of wood in the black and white checkered. So I'm just sizing it up right now, and I'm going to cut 3 pieces, and then once I cut the piece, I'm just going to lay that checkered pattern down, rub it in with my fingers, make sure it's all sticking everywhere, and then I'm just going to turn it over using my cutting mat and cut off all that excess all around. And for this, I can't get under that other piece of wood that's supporting, so all I did was I made a couple of cuts, turned it over, and then cut on the other side. A little piece of advice: use a brand new blade when you're doing this because it makes your life a lot easier, and then the vinyl doesn't pull if you're using a dull blade. But here you go. I have all my vinyl laid down, and now I'm just kind of figuring out where I want the home sign to go and where I need to add some glue to glue that together. So I'm doing good side facing down for both pieces. That way, when it comes up or when you turn it right side, that home sign is nice and flush with the front. So I'm just going to put that on there with some hot glue. And I'm going to add a little more hot glue just to make sure it doesn't. And then, of course, there's my head in the way. Sorry. I guess I really wanted to get in there, right? And to finish it all off, I have these galvanized heart signs, and I'm just going to throw some glue on there, and I'm going to attach that right into the center. And I don't show this on camera, but the Dollar Tree has those small round magnets. I glued 4 of them on the back side, and then I put it right up on my fridge, and that's where it is to this day. I love how this looks, and of course, you can see my dirty kitchen. But I just had to show you what it looks like on my fridge because I'm so happy with it. Here we go to another one, our large home hanger. We have seen these at the Dollar Tree. We've seen them online and everything. So I wanted to do my own little shtick on it. So I'm taking that home wood sign, and again, I am painting it with that black acrylic paint that I have been using. I just love this acrylic paint. It does great coverage. For this one, I only needed 1 coat, believe it or not, and everything was fine. So for this project, I'm going to use the black and white checkered and the white vinyl, and I'm cutting it to the size of the letters. So for the H and the O, I wanted it to be in white. For the M, I wanted it to be in the black and white checkered pattern. And for the E, I wanted it to be white as well. So here I'm just sizing up the coverage, making sure it's covered. And then, of course, I need to take a little bit extra off. And then that's the perfect coverage. Then I'm going to move on to the E, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with some spare white vinyl. And I'm going to make sure that that covers up the entire letter on the back. I just repeat the process for the M in the black and white checkered vinyl, doing the exact same thing, just getting the sizing down. And then once that happens, I'm just going to glue these down a little bit at a time. For this one, I did about 1/3 of it. Then I added more glue onto the sheet for the other 2/3, just to make sure that I have the placement correct and that I don't glue it down in the wrong area, which can totally happen. And then I do the E in the white as well. And then I'm going to do the M in the black and white checkered. Originally, I was going to leave this the way it is at the back, but I decided to take a piece of black, what do you call this? Black foam board. And again, this is just from the Dollar Tree. I estimate the size that I want, so it's a little bit smaller than the front. I cut it out using my X-Acto knife, piece it together, and now that just kind of finishes the backside a little bit than having all these vinyl pieces exposed at the back. So I'm just throwing a whole bunch of hot glue down, and then I'm just going to glue that together. In hindsight, I would have painted the black edges a little bit so you don't see the wood, but that's okay. It's going up against the wall. And looking at it afterwards, I'm like, it just needs a little something. So I decided to make a little wreath, if you will. Because what's a video without making a wreath on my channel, right? And this is just a little bit of greenery from the Dollar Tree that I just attached down using a whole bunch of hot glue and covering up the O and the HOME. And there you have our little wreath right in the center. And to hang this, all I'm going to do is take a little bit of extra twine and a little piece of, this was just spare wood I had laying around. I'm going to push it down, hold it together. I'm going to do it for both sides. And then once that's done, I'm just going to cut off the excess. And now I have a hanger to make, or to hang our sign. How do you love this product? Or this project? I loved it. Here is our striped home photo frame. For this project, I'm using this wood frame that I got from the Dollar Tree, And I'm just going to take the plastic off here, and then I'm just going to take it apart, open it up. I'm going to save my little card for the end, and I'm going to save that little stick to hold as well. For this, I'm going to be using the white vinyl. So I size up my white vinyl and I cut it out, peel off the back, and the good side facing down, I'm going to place that on top of my vinyl. Once I have it there, I'm going to press it in, flip it over, press it on the other side as well, and then I'm just going to do the same thing with my X-Acto knife and my mat board. I'm just going to cut out the edges and make sure it's all nice and smooth all the way around. And boom, you instantly have a white frame. For this one, I decided I wanted to do a black and white stripe. So I have a little piece of black vinyl here, and I'm marking off 1/2 inch spacing. And what I'm going to do is going to mark it off at the top and the bottom, which is going to be a guide for me with my ruler and my X-Acto knife to cut 1/2 inch strips with the black vinyl. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of those. I didn't really know how many I was going to do, so I think I cut like maybe 8 or 10 of them. And then once I got them all cut, I'm just going to peel off the back, and then I'm just going to place them down. Do I want it at an angle? Do I want it straight? I decided to go straight, and then I'm just going to place all of my strips down just by eyeball. If you want, you can totally measure out the spacing. I just did it by eye. I didn't measure anything out. And I just kept going until all of my pieces are down. And then I just chop off all the excess using my X-Acto knife. And here it is, got my striped already. Now I'm going to take that piece of cardboard with the photo of the dog, and I'm going to use the opposite side with some more burlap, and I'm going to glue that burlap right on this little picture here on the back side. Once that's all down, and of course we have to use our handy dandy little tool. Have you guys all bought one yet? They are amazing. I highly, highly recommend them. So here we go. There's the little doggy that comes with the picture frame. We flip it over and then make sure that little hole's at the bottom so we can stick it in. And I had painted more of those wood letters to create our home sign, which is our whole theme today, our whole home decor theme using the Dollar Tree vinyls. That's all glued down. I had some more of the lavender. And of course, I love the black and white with this lavender color. It's just so popping. I created another little bow, add that bow right to the top there using my hot glue, and there you go. There is our home sign picture frame. How about a little bonus DIY? You've made it this far, so let's give you a little bonus. Here are a couple of, there's a plate and a bowl. It's a set from the Dollar Tree. It's total plastic. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of this cement that I found at the Dollar Tree. Now, when you're using this cement, please open up a window. It's really smelly. And I'm going to use some hot glue, and I'm just going to stick that right in the center. So the bowl is upside down, or right side up, and the plate is upside down. And when you flip it over, it creates a little base for you. And this is kind of like a little single-tiered tray. And I wanted to add a little bit of a design, so I'm just taking my hot glue and glue gun, and I'm just kind of doing up and down lines right at the bottom there. And once it's all dry, I'm just going to take this all outside, and I'm just going to spray it with Rust-Oleum black spray paint. Wait to see the results. I just love how this looked. Really easy, really quick. Here you go on the left-hand side. There is my little stand that I created. My home arch sign there. Here's a little close-up of that stand. My home magnet sign that hangs in my fridge right now. Our home box sign. Our home photo frame. And of course, the large home sign that you can hang on your door, on your wall, or whatever you want to do. Which one is your favorite today? Did you like this video? Did you like all the little projects today? I hope you did. And let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really had a lot of fun making these Dollar Tree vinyl projects. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Take care. Bye for now.